And that hour is coming. But people don't seem to want to understand that. In the book of Revelations, it makes it quite clear. Shalom, brother. Shalom. Where you from? Huh? We're in the Caribbean. Come here, I can't hear.
Caribbean.
Wait, come here, I can't hear. I don't want to shout over to you.
I'm from the Caribbean.
What part?
Jamaica.
Oh, okay. You know you're Israelite then? Do you know that?
I'm Israelite.
Yeah. You're from the tribe of, predominantly from the West Indies and predominantly from the tribe of Benjamin.
Would you enlighten me a bit more about it?
Say again?
Would you enlighten me a bit more?
Sure. So, the children of Israel, those people that they call Israelis, that live in the land of Israel today, are not the children of Israel. They're not the Israelites of the Bible. The Israelites of the Bible are those people that went into captivity, into slavery, alongside the Native American Indian tribes of North, South America and Canada, and the West Indies. So from the West Indies you had the Taino and the Arawak Indians, right? In the mainland you had like the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Marapuchus, the Gadites, the Simeo Indians, and also those people that came on the slave ships to the Americas, to the West Indies. So, to put this, to give you a bit more understanding, we're not from the West Indies. We were brought to the West Indies, right? Right. We got there by those slave ships. That's a slave ship there. That's how we got there. Carlos.
Carlos Santa.
Huh?
What's the name of the slave ships, if you don't mind me asking?
There's a few, but one of them was actually called Jesus. The slave ships, basically. So we got to the Americas on the slave ships. Now, the prophecy in the Bible talks about the children of Israel going into slavery by cargo slave ships. I'm going to be sold to their enemies. So let me read this to you.
So, I'm asking, not being rude, I'd like to ask.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the process of us, a lot of these people being slaves,
Yeah.
right? The Indians, the Arawak Indian, as you say, they was there before, in the West Indies before, right?
Absolutely.
So how did
they get there?
Yeah.
How did the
Apart
Arawaks
from,
get?
as in the transition between these people to the Caribbean, but what was the deal between, how does these people become slaves, as in from one place to the other?
How did they become slaves?
Yeah, because I'm thinking to myself, if that's the case, there must be some of our own people that
sold
make
us.
exactly.
Absolutely right. But you're 100% right. Some of our own people sold us to them. The Arabs sold us to the white man. Some of our own people, Israelites, sold us to the white man as well. And so did the Hamites, which are Africans. Because we are not Africans. Africans are Hamites. They come from the line of Ham. We come from the line of Shem, Noah's oldest son. So African tribes sold Israelites.
I'm trying to educate myself.
Yeah, go on.
Ham.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the Amorites.
The Hamites.
Hamites.
Yeah.
Right. So, what's the other one name you say?
Shem.
Shem.
We're from Shem.
So Shem represent from which part of Africa, you don't mind me asking?
All on the west coast, literally. The majority of people that was from Shem, that comes from the Israelites, they lived on the west coast of Africa because they fled there in 70 AD. There was a time called when Jerusalem was besieged by the Romans. It's referred to as 70 AD. The Romans had taken down Jerusalem, the Israelites in Jerusalem, which was known as the Kingdom of Judah, and over 1.5 million Israelites fled from Jerusalem to the west coast of Africa. Some of us fled up into Europe, but the majority of the Israelites that was taken down by the Romans in 70 AD came to the west coast of Africa. And they lived there for 1,500 years until the Europeans came around the 14th century AD. In Africa already was the Hamites, the actual Africans who were living in Africa. So, to give you an example, there was Israelite communities in Africa during the times of the Lord. Because when the Lord was alive, when he was a baby and Herod tried to kill him, his mother, Mary, and his father, Joseph, took him where? Took him to Egypt. He lived in Egypt until he was 12 years old because he was fleeing the Romans.
That means, if you don't mind
Sure.
me cut you there. That means, overall, I'm thinking slavery was designed to not only hurt Christian people, because as I say, our people it must be some sort of business plan that.
Well, it was a punishment.
And eventually there's disagreement, because I see it as now.
Well, I'm going to show you what
once
it was.
money is involved, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The best thing, personally speaking, the best thing was, and that disturbed so much of history for me, and that's where I think slavery become a part of bartering system.
Yeah,
for example, bartering system, right? And I don't know.
But there's always, but what I'm saying to you, there's always been slaves, but not what we call chattel slavery. What happened to us? What happened to us was a punishment. Because we as a people, I'm going to show you the Bible, we stopped following the laws, commandments, and statutes of the Most High. So this is what the Most High said to the children of Israel. He said, it's Deuteronomy 28 verse 15, but it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. All of these curses are in the Bible here from verse 17 to verse 68. I'm just going to read a few of them to you. It says here, cursed shall thou be in the city, cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall thou be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. So all of these things happened to us during slavery. All of these curses came upon us during slavery, right? We were cursed when we lived in the city or in the countryside. We were cursed in the fields and the plantations. It says here, the Lord shall send upon thee vexation and rebuke in all curse and vexation, and all that thou settest thy hand unto to do, until thou be destroyed, until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. I'm going to bring out a couple ones that will make sense to you when you see it. This is verse 47 there. It says here, because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall what? Put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he has destroyed thee. Now, if you was to type in yoke of iron,
yeah, I was going to say to you, explain in your own words.
Okay, so when it says, cursed shall thou be, when it says there, and thou shalt send against thee your enemies, against thee in hunger, during slavery, everything we need we got to get from our slave master. Any food, anything we got to get from them. Right. Anything we had to drink, we had to get from them. Our clothing, all came from them. Everything. In want of all things, everything we required to survive during slavery, our slave master had to give it to us. Because we had no rights. We were slaves. We didn't get paid. We wasn't getting paid. We couldn't buy nothing. We lived under them. They fed us, they clothed us, and they punished us, right? And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he has destroyed thee. Now, yoke of iron is what they put on your neck during slavery. So if you look on the pictures there, you'll see the yokes of iron, right?
Can I make a personal comment? Yes,
sure.
What I was going to explain.
Yeah.
Some of the, not saying it wrong, because it's really good to explain history to us as younger generation, right? Do you look forward to, as in all teachings or book of the Bible that for guidance in terms of, so you think a lot of individuals have input their own doctrine in the Bible, wherein it's not every one of it accurate, because the ancient teaching, personally for me, which teaches most of our the most accurate part of history, as into like slavery and what goes on.
Well, this is when we're dealing with the Bible, we also look at the secular history to line things up with what's happened in the Bible. So when it tells us about this, when it says here, this is the next verse. It says, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, which are these Europeans, from the ends of the earth, as swift as the eagle flies, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. Which were these Europeans? We didn't know English, Spanish, Portuguese, or English. Now,
no, alright, like example, where you go there, we didn't know English, Spanish, Portuguese. What language did we speak? We did know a language, right?
yeah, absolutely. So we spoke Hebrew. That's why some of the from Nigeria, they call them what? The Igbos. Those are the Hebos, the Hebrews that they brought to the Americas. Do you know why they called us Negroes when we went to the Americas? You know why there was no slave signs that said Africans for sale? You won't come across.
Why is that? Why is that?
Oh, because they wasn't selling Africans, they were selling Israelites that were called Negroes. They knew, the Europeans knew that those people that they put on those boats up to the Americas were not Africans. That's why you would never see a slave sign that says Africans for sale, because they were not selling Africans. They were selling.
But hear me out. Don't you think, alright?
Yeah.
And this, I'm a person that really enjoy history.
Yeah, that's good, that's good.
The Howaks that was there,
Yeah.
it's not, as you say, in the West Indies and so on, there was Howaks, right?
Antonio Indians.
Right.
Yeah.
Our people as well. So this is what I'm saying. It's a combination of, I don't know how, as I say, I try to understand more about how people the slave masters then come up with these ideas, but some of our people plus the Howaks as well is to be blamed. It's not specifically, and then when I look at it and not being biased or anything, right? When I look at it and look this side of the world, for example, on the west. Back in the days, I see it as just like you they say, you know, it's these people, the white people are so on you disclose of, right? And our people from Africa, Africa, I look at it that Africa was developed before these places. Then if Africa was developed before these places, how can we come? How could slavery come about in terms of the deal between we becoming slaves going from there to the Caribbean when we were developed before this side of.
But what we must also understand is that the people that was in Europe in the times what they call the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages were not white people, what they call white people. It wasn't them. It was people of colour that ruled Europe. They didn't come into Europe until around the 13th century. They came out of the Caucasus Mountains from Eastern Europe. That's why they're called Caucasian, because they came from the Caucasus Mountains. They came into Europe, and little by little, they started to take down. The Moors ruled most of Europe for about 900 years. The Moors were Israelites that was practicing Islam. They ruled Spain, southern France. They ruled Portugal. They ruled Italy, Sicily. Literally all of southern Europe was ruled by the Moors, basically. In England,
in like today, who you would describe as the Moors, like in today date?
Okay, so the Moors, a lot of the Moors are still, will be in North Africa. Some of them will be in North Africa. Some of them will be mixed up in West Coast of Africa as well. But they got pushed out of Europe. They ruled all of Europe, the Moors did. Literally all of Europe they ruled. These are all people of colour, the Moors.
So basically, for me personally as well, our people is very much also need to adjust. We need to adjust ourselves as well in terms of how, because
what the condition that we're in today.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me show you something.
And
before we get to that, I'm going to show you. This is when the Lord tells us we're going to go into slavery. It says here, this is verse 68, the same chapter, same book, Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. It says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So when it says Egypt, it's talking about America. America is known as Egypt in the Bible. How do we know that? The Bible talks about this space spiritually known as Sodom and Egypt in the book of Revelation. Sodom for homosexuality, Egypt because of slavery. Now, if you look at the back of the US dollar, what do you see? The pyramid, the seeing eye, and the eclipse. All these Egyptology stuff. So this is what it's talking about.
So how does I don't understand right that part there. I'll stop you
Okay.
there. How come the pyramid was the originally in Africa?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
was there a monument. So how does the pyramid became on the American money?
Because it was going to, this place was going to be known spiritually as Egypt. That's why it's spiritually known as Egypt. The Bible talks about the great city in the book of Revelations. It talks about this great city. It says here. It says here. And their dead bodies, which means spiritually dead, Israel, shall lie in the street of the great city, which is America, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. So America is spiritually known as Sodom, because homosexuality, the mother of homosexuality comes from America, that's gone to the world, that's been exported to the world, and Egypt because of slavery, because ancient Egypt is known for its slavery. So America is known for its slavery.
So that's Egypt then. That's fear. That's what the fear.
Absolutely, it's known for its slavery. So when you go back, when we go back to Deuteronomy,
so how does you get about finding America as described as Egypt? There, I don't understand.
I'm going to show you. So when it talks about here, it says, "And the Lord shall bring you to Egypt again with ships." Right? By the way, how did you get to the Americas? By ships, right? By slave ships.
So in other words, then, not continue.
Remember, but what I'm saying is that he's talking to the children
so
of
the
Israel.
American, so the alright, put it this way. So the Egyptian, which you would say then, in other words, because I'm trying to work out. So the Bears, right? They moved to America, as in geographically. Then those people.
No. America, the land of America, is spiritually known as Sodom and Egypt. Sodom for homosexuality. That's one of the core things of America. Homosexuality. It's one of the bedrocks of it. Egypt for slavery. One of the bedrock things of what built America is slavery. Now, when it says here, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there, in this spiritual place called Egypt, you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. When it says bondmen and bondwomen, slave men and slave women, when it says that no man shall buy you, that word buy in the Hebrew means qanah, which means redeem. No man, no Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, no one can redeem you from your predicament. It's happening in America. Now, Egypt, Israel, and Egypt, what we know today in Africa and Israel itself, you can walk from Egypt into Israel. It's landlocked.
Yeah,
so we know it's not talking about taking you from Israel to actual Egypt in Africa by ships, because you wouldn't go by ships. This is talking about America. This is where we were taken and sold as slaves, men and women, and no one is going to be able to redeem us from that slavery. So you're asking me, why? What do we need to do? See, the Bible talks about us as a nation of people being destroyed. We are destroyed people. Why? Because we were given these names. Jamaica is what they called it, the Europeans. There's no such thing as a Jamaican. It's a name that was given to the country by I believe it was the British before they took it over from the Spanish. America goes back to who? America Vespucian. These people came, conquered these places, and named it after themselves, basically. All of the places in the West Indies are named.
It was passed down through more than one slave master, Jamaica itself, right?
Oh yeah, because it was the Spanish controlled it first, and then the Portuguese took it over. I mean, the English took it over from the Spanish, basically now. But my point is that all of these things were going to happen to us. Was prophesied to happen to the children of Israel. There's no nation of people on this earth that can say they were taken into slavery by cargo slave ships. No nation can claim that by us. We're the only nation. So we know for a fact that when the Lord says that these are part of the curses that are going to come upon us, that we're going to be taken into Egypt, which is America, with ships. And there you're going to be sold as bondmen and bondwomen, slave men and slave women, and no man shall redeem you, save you. No Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, all of these people that come just no one's going to redeem us from our predicament but the Lord. But these things had to happen to us. Why? Because, just like what Moses said here, because if we would not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to all his commandments and his statutes, which I commanded this day, then all these curses shall come upon thee. And there's many others. It says here, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind man gropeth in the dark. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. And thou shalt be oppressed and spoiled evermore. And no man shall save thee. Thou shalt what? Betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Did that not happen to us through slavery? The slave master come and take your wife anytime you want, right?
Even to the day, it happens as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
To be honest,
It says,
not being rude.
yeah, but you're absolutely right. It says, thou shalt build a house, the slave master's house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, the plantation, and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof. You're not going to prosper in what you're picking up in the harvest. It says, thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thy ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. So when your children were sold, if you gave birth to kids on the plantation, at any age they can take your baby and sell it. 1 month old, 1 year old, 10-year-old, they can take and sell it. Because that's why it says, and thou shalt have no might. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look, you're going to witness it, and fell with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand. None. You've got no power to do nothing. The fruit of thy land and all thy labour shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, and thou shalt see it. So all of these things happen to us, even down to the diseases. The Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shall you serve other gods, white Jesus, Islam, Buddhism. These are all the other gods that we are serving. Wood and stone. And thou shalt what? Thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whither the Lord shall lead thee. A proverb, a byword, and astonishment. Nigger, coon, monkey, all these things. No matter where we are, whether we're in England, we can go to France, wherever we go.
Don't you think with a lot of these, a lot of these direct or specific description of
these curses
of gods, as you'd say,
yeah.
Don't you think it's time for us to rise above occasion and say,
we have
whichever God you describe in name or have in vision, you know that you look at the clouds, you turn around and you look at the sun shining there, it's a natural energy there. You know that the energy is from the Almighty, the Creator Himself.
Absolutely.
Without
but this is but we are the Almighty people. You see, we as a nation of people, remember, God has a chosen people. We are those chosen people. The Bible tells you that the Lord, He tells you, Deuteronomy 7:6, it says here, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy power has chosen thee to be a special people unto Himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. We are the Most High's chosen people, but because we went off, we start to follow after other gods, other beliefs, other religions, all of that. All of these, the Most High, because it's idolatry. There's only one power, the Most High. His name is Yahweh. That's His name in the Hebrew. Yahweh, which means He is. That's the Most High's name. Yahweh, which means He is. The Son's name is Yahweh Shai, which means He, deliverer. He's the deliverer, because He's coming to deliver the Most High's children. So we, as a nation of people, went off. We stopped following the laws, commandments, and statutes. We went after other gods, other beliefs. We got involved in idolatry, human sacrifice, all of these things that's against the Most High. So because of that, he used these other nations, and especially the white man, who's known as the Edomites in the Bible, the Esau seeds, to chastise us. He told Moses that if we go off, all of those curses that are in Deuteronomy 28.
Are you selling them?
No, sir. No, but you can take photos, whatever you want of them you like. No problem. Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, you're good, man. All of these curses are going to come upon us. So what we have to do as a people, we have to come back to the Most High. Come back to Yahweh. And I'm not talking what they're teaching in those tombs. Because those places are tombs, the churches. They're not teaching the word of God. They're teaching white Jesus, supremacy Christianity. The Bible.
In a way, I agree and I disagree. Why? Because I always think, and that's why I go back to where is our people? Because
our people are
down to the individual. And us as black people or people in general, right? To make sure that our kids and our generation maintain such history. And for such history to, it's great for a person like you when you do.
But the first thing we have to do as a people, we have to come out of those tombs. Because in there, they're teaching you white Jesus, white supremacy Christianity. They're not teaching who you are. They don't want you to know that you're the Israelites, that you belong to the tribe of Benjamin. They want you to continue to believe that those people in Israel who call themselves Israelis, that's why they don't call themselves Israelites, because it means they'd have to prove that they're the people of the Bible. The people of the Bible are Israelites. The Jews of the Bible are Israelites, and they belong to 12 tribes: Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, Issachar. So they would have to prove that. They can't prove that. They call themselves Jews, right? That's what they say. They say, oh, we're the Jews. Jew just means to come from the tribe of Judah. It's one tribe. Judah are what we know as the Negroes in African Americans in America. That's who they are. We are from the tribe of Benjamin. The Haitians are the Levites. Then you got Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, so on. So these are the Native American Indians of North, South in America, and the slaves that also went there. Many slaves went to South America. Thank you. Take care, man. The second biggest import of slaves was where? In Brazil.
You teach me a big thing there about the first tribe here.
Yeah.
Never seen that. Let me say this clearly. I never, from young age, I never seems to describe myself as
one of the 12 tribes.
Not only just one of the 12 tribes, but not educated by my people.
To tell you who we are.
Enough of us teaching these things.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
To our generation. Like, for example, I can define myself now as a West Indian.
Absolutely, you're from the tribe of Benjamin.
Benjamin.
Because all what you see happening now, there are brothers out there on the highways and hedges teaching this. All what you see happening now is prophesied in the Bible. The Lord said He's going to wake up His people in the last day. But those people
that... Alright, for Africa, if you don't mind me, I don't, just like, that's saying not... Alright. As for Africa, right, I see my foreparents, some of my foreparents from my mom and some of my dad, I should say, right? Yeah. And so they're from Africa, right?
Okay.
And they're from Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Not Nigeria. Ghana.
Ghana. They're Israelites.
Right? So,
Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, Mali, Congo, Bakufusa, all of those countries on the west coast, Cameroon, they're all Israelites. The Igbo tribe from Nigeria, the Hebos, these are all Israelites. Not everyone got scooped up on the ships. That's why they are suffering in the west coast. Still suffering today. But those are Israelites. All on the west coast of Africa, they're all Israelites still there. Because not all of us got scooped up on the slave ships. And they know this. You see, the elites know this. They know who we are. We're not Jamaicans. We're not Antiguans. We're not African Americans. We're not West. We're not even Nigerians or Ghanaians and that. The names that they name. Remember, they named Nigeria's name. The British called Nigeria. That was known as Negro land one time. It was also known as the Kingdom of Judah. They named all of the places that they colonized. They named these Europeans. This is what they did. They gave us those names and they took away our identity and our name. The Bible talks about, this is the scripture here, right? It says here.
I see him go all over my place.
How we go study,
Where is it here? This is what the scripture says here. This is Revelation chapter 3. Just so you understand, right? Revelation 3 and 9. It says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Those people are the synagogue of Satan. They are lying. They're not Jews. This is all prophesied in the Bible that they were going to say they were Jews. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which are those so-called Jews, which say they are Jews, those Eastern Europeans in Israel, and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. This is going to be fulfilled. This is what the awakening is right now. If we go to Revelations 2 and 9, it says the same thing here. It says, I know thy works, talking about you, the true Israelites, and tribulations and poverty, talking about us. But thou art rich. Why are we rich? Because we are the true children of Israel. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. That's who they are. Those people that call themselves Jews, Israelis, are the synagogue of Satan.
Why you? So don't you think like we all improve as people as we go on and we grow? And that's why I think personally the teachings are very important, because obviously I've got friends of different backgrounds.
That's fine.
I'm not being biased.
No, you don't have to be biased, because just so you understand as well, during slavery, what happened to us? We have mixed amongst all the other nations. We were scattered to the four corners of the world. The Lord says he's going to scatter us to the four corners of the world, which happened to us. Because of that, we have mixed amongst the other nations. So what we must understand as well, Israel is also mixed amongst the other nations. So some of these Caucasians that think they're Caucasians or Edomites will be Israelites, because we're mixed amongst them. Some of our people that think they're Israelites will actually be Edomites, belong to the other nations. This is why the Lord is coming to do this. So you're going to know, people, you'll know who, when you're dealing with in the spirit, who, if these people are Israelites or not. When you're talking to them yourself, you will know. Because when you show people certain things, it's whether they can receive it or not. All right? And this is why the Lord said he's coming to do this. Because what's happened, this is what's happened to Israel, basically. It says Matthew chapter 13, verse 37. It says, he answers and says unto them, he that sows the good seed is the Son of Man. The Son of Man is Yahushua, the Son of the Most High. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, which are the Israelites. And in these last days, only the elect. But the tares are the children of the wicked one. For there are tares amongst them. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. When the Bible talks about the devil, it's talking about the so-called white man. The Edomites. They're known as Esau in the Bible. The harvest is the end of the world. There's a harvest in the world. That's when the Lord is going to come. And the reapers are the angels. As therefore the tares are gathered and burned in the fire, so shall it be at the end of the world. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of the kingdom all the things that offend and them which do iniquity, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Then shall the righteous shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father. Who has ears to hear, let them hear. So the Most High is coming to separate the wheat from the tears, basically. So when it says the furnace of fire, that's going to be the war. We are heading, there's two last major prophecies to happen. Right now, we're living in a time where the Lord is just waking up the remnant. Not all of our people are going to be saved, because not all of us are going to accept this truth. There are two last prophecies to be fulfilled. One is the mark of the beast, which is the microchip, which is going to go global. All money is going to go digital. All currencies. We're going to go, once it all goes digital, they're going to introduce a thing called the microchip, which is going to become your passport, your driving license. It's going to become your digital wallet. It's going to have your health history, your work history, your criminal history. That chip is going to be put inside you. The Bible talks about that. You're going to use that for that.
That is correct.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the microchip. So that's one of the last two prophecies. The one after that is the War of Armageddon. It's World War III. Once we see the microchip go global, the War of Armageddon, which is World War III, is going to be right on its heels. So what we see happening in Russia is just foreshadowing what's to come. Russia right now is just building up its old Soviet Union power structure, because that war that's going to start between the West and the East is going to be led by the Russians and its allies, China, North Korea, Pakistan, India, and a lot of those Arab countries, Iran. They're all going to be on the side of Russia. In the West,